So again, the recording is in progress. Will Tagan, I'm looking at you. Will, could you please be a good example of paying attention or taking a fun conversation outside? We're delighted to have Colleen Fisk with us here, and then Mary Green on the Zoom. Mary's unfortunately not feeling very well, but she is the treasurer of the Kenai Peninsula Backcountry Horsemen of Alaska. You've seen her present here before, and she has been with them since starting in 2016. She's also been involved with Kasilof Equestrian Trails and many other projects that the Backcountry Horsemen have done down in that area. She's the contact person with DOT for the Sterling Highway project, mile 45 to 60. And she's also been working with Chugach National Forest around Seward for the betterment of other parking lots and trying to make sure that places are accessible for equestrians. She and her husband own a general contracting company in Soldotna and have been in business since 1976, working on the Kenai. She also strives to keep trails open for use by historically designated users and to promote the significance of horses and in the historic development of trails in Alaska. And then here we have in person, Colleen Fisk, the president of the Mat-Su Backcountry Horsemen of Alaska. She's the president there, as I mentioned, and national director for the Backcountry Horsemen of Alaska as well. She's a lifelong Alaskan and horseback rider from Wasilla, but also enjoys trails for hiking, biking, camping, and more. And in her day job, she works for the Renewable Energy Alaska Project. So please welcome Mary and Colleen.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's gonna be really hard to follow Patrick's presentation. I do not have anything so cool as a bunch of, maybe that's just the nerd in me. I don't have as many cool graphs and talking about plastic waste, but I do want to talk about one of my hobbies. I think like all of us, we have many different parts of our lives. Some of you may know me from my work as education director at REAP, but today I'm here representing Backcountry Horsemen of Alaska. Some of you may also know me as someone who's house sat for you before. It's been like 10 years, right? But you know, I have done that. So, you know, that's how life is. And I do, so I grew up riding in Alaska outside of Wasilla. I've been in Alaska almost all my life. I went out of state for college, but as I was leaving for college, the Backcountry Horsemen of Alaska started becoming established. And so there's a Backcountry Horsemen of America. There's a national organization. And so BCH of Alaska is our state organization. Mat-Su was the first organization in Alaska to start. And then Kenai Peninsula started about 2016. And that's when we split up. So right now we just have the two chapters. Then we have the state organization. And I'm one of the representatives of Alaska at the national level. I was just in Wyoming 2 weeks ago for that. So that was really fun. And I want to talk about just a little bit about some of the work that we do, maybe some ideas of how we can partner together to be able to do some work with the state. Like I put in my bio, I love using trails for a lot of reasons. You know, I'm like, okay, I can get a little bit more cross-country skiing into the year before I start hitting where the trails are dried up for enough for me to go riding on them. So, so what we love to do here is we have some photos here. You know, we love getting into the backcountry. A lot of our members don't necessarily do camping overnight with their horses and do more like what we call front country, or like this time of year, I'm mostly riding on the roads in my neighborhood. So most people know me around there, but we really love being able to get in the backcountry. And I'm very fortunate that as part of a 4-H member, when I was growing up, I was able to learn how to do packing when I was growing up, to be able to do this in the summertime. And so I get out about once, hopefully maybe even twice this year, backpacking with my horses. And we really love to be able to do this. But we also, as Backcountry Horsemen, we are a service and education organization. So we do a lot of the Backcountry Horsemen itself is a service organization. So we do volunteer work in terms of clearing trails, putting in trails, and we can carry tools. We support other people, especially in non-motorized areas. We can carry materials out to places, to sites that might need work done. And so in 2023, these are how many volunteer hours that we logged. And so with trail miles, equipment hours, what they call stock use days, and travel miles, that was over a $67,000 value just in Alaska alone. And I know in Matsu, that was a probably very underreported number of hours, but these are the official reported hours that we have. And so this is what we like to do. We keep trails open for all, even though we are like the backcountry horsemen. And also that name is very ironic. It's like 95% of us identify as female, but you know, that's just how it goes. I started in Montana with a bunch of cowboys. So it's backcountry horsemen of Alaska. And so, but we are a service organization, like I said. And so we are all about being able to do that service work and help keep the trails open for other users, especially other non-motorized users, you know, like hikers and bikers. And we want to share the trails with everybody. So here's a picture of some of the Kenai folks. Try to see, Mary, are you in that photo? I don't think Mary's in that photo, not much. But this is us. And this is me riding my horse and ponying my friend's Mustang, carrying stuff out to Caribou Creek. And we always bring little saws with us. So even though this wasn't a work trip that we did, we were just going out fun camping, we always bring saws with us. So like there were definitely some spots where like cutting down branches off of trails. So like, yeah, we could have gone around it, but we had our saws with us. So we're gonna go ahead and fix it while we're there. Johnson Pass. So yeah, we were in Johnson Pass last year. The number of people who were like shocked at us, those horses on there, was pretty cool. And we have heard people say like, oh, I didn't know horses went there. I was like, well, after July 1st, we're allowed. So we're there on Johnson Pass and we will use it. But part of our work as backcountry horsemen is also education. And we very much advocate for leave no trace principles. So just because you don't see that there was horses there doesn't mean that we weren't there. Hopefully that means that we were really good about cleaning up after ourselves. Of course, not all horse people do that, but we do advocate for that as an organization, is cleaning up after ourselves, making sure that we have a very low impact wherever that we are traveling. And that is also part of that, is we also try to educate other horse riders and other users about those principles as well. So here's a picture of a work party. We don't always do it on horseback, although that is certainly our preferred method a lot of times. But if it doesn't make sense, if it's close by, we do a lot of work just going out and clearing trails, a lot of chainsaw work. And we like to bring our dogs with us. And so, Mary, if you're able to unmute yourself, is this a trail work party from South Equestrian Trails? Are you able to talk about that?
Yes, that actually was last year. Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah. We can hear you great.
Yeah, that was last year's work party that we did for the National Trails Day. It wasn't a very big group, but they got a lot done. As we all know, we've talked about a lot. There were a lot of trees coming down. There's going to be a lot of trees this year. And our National Trails Day that we're going to be working on this trail, specifically the Kasilof Equestrian Trail, is on June 6th. And so we'll have a group of people out there cutting down trees. And then we're fortunate enough down here on the peninsula, we've been really lucky. We have the fabulous Kasilof Equestrian Trail. We have put in almost 16 miles of trails now on Borough land that the Borough has donated to us. We started in 2019, 2020. During COVID, we actually worked. We have been lucky enough for this next year. The Borough has a CAP grant that we asked for, and now we're actually helping with our funding for the FECON that we'll be hiring to come out there and do most of the work via FECON. Anyway, we do work parties. We do fun rides for a fundraiser for us, and then we also do a trail challenge. And this is anybody in the state of Alaska, actually is probably anybody in the world, can participate, and you keep track of your miles and turn them in. And at the end of the season, we're going to be starting May 1st, and we'll go till fall. And we actually give prizes out for the longest trails, largest groups. We did that last year for the first time and it was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, anything you want to add from what I've talked about so far?
The only other thing is like what you said, you know, I've been riding horses around here for, well, a long time. And I mean, I ride Resurrection Trail, I ride Johnson's Pass, I ride Crescent Trail, I ride Carter Crescent Trail. These are all with the forestry. We ride some of the refuge trails, which would be, you know, like Pollard trails out to Nurse's Cabin. So for people to say, well, I never see a horse on them, which they're one of the things that most of horse people, they try to ride either during hunting season or they try to ride during the middle of the week because we're not real happy with having our horses be around a lot of people. It just makes it more difficult for us and for the horses, and it's more difficult for the other people on the trail. So we try to stay on the during the middle of the week. We try to participate, but we're out there all the time. Devil's Pass Trail here on the peninsula, and obviously Colleen will tell you about what's happening up in Matsu.
Yeah, great, thanks, Mary. So here's some more photos, Kenai. And, you know, many of these trails that, you know, that they've put in there or that we work on clearing, again, it's for everybody. We're not doing it just for horse and mule people. It's for everybody to be able to use. So here's just a list of some of the things that we have done. Mentioned in Mary's bio about the Sterling Highway project. We do a lot of work with the local 4-H horse clubs. So I know the Kenai chapter has put on packing clinics with the 4-Hers. We're doing, last couple of years in the Matsu, we've done trail trials with the 4-H club at the Crevasse Moraine Greenbelt, like on the cooperative extension. We're planning to do that again this year. We've done support for the Resurrection Trail Ultra race. So we've gone up so that we're just kind of back up and have, you know, emergency two-way texter in case, you know, kind of at a spot where there isn't other people on the trail. So a couple of years ago, one of our people actually took somebody out. So it kind of was like, I'm done. Can you please get me out of here? And so he did. He got her out of there. So we have in the Matsu, we had started, it's kind of the past couple years has fallen off, but we hopefully have a good point person to work on this year, the Carl Wagon Road Historic Trail, that starts from GPO, the Government Peak Rec area. So we're hoping to find a better way to access that from that new parking lot that's there. So these are some of the things that we are working on. And we're always happy to, you know, if other people are like, hey, you know, there's this spot like 5 miles back that I can't get a 4-wheeler to. Do you think you could make a sign back there or something like that? Like, that's a great excuse for us to be able to do that. We love to be able to help with that. And so just as if you haven't seen this before, I think they presented the same slide last year, but just as a reminder, this is the general yielding for the horses, is that we are supposed to yield to horses. Like Mary said, a lot of us are trying to ride when it's not high use area. Like on Kenai River used to be one of my favorite places to ride. Growing up, but it's been a lot of motorized use, which is great. I'm glad they can have a place to go, but that means most people that I know only go there during the weekend, right? Or like get out there. We can do overnights. Like if you get past Jim Creek or even Friday Creek, you can really get past all of that. So like leave on a Friday to get out past all that, spend the night out there, away from the craziness. But if you do see us out there, please spread the word. Please do yield to us. Don't try to hide. That is a great way for the horse to think that you are ready to ambush them. So a lot of our trail horses are used to it and they're, you know, may not, but some of them are new. You know, we always have new horses that we're working on training. So please don't try to like hide, because that sneaky behavior will really trigger the prey instinct of the horses. Talk to us, you know, just say hi. It doesn't matter what you say. Just talk so that they know there's a human there and a friendly voice. You can, if you can, please do wait. We often try to, step off out of the way, if you're coming against the grain from us, and hopefully that will just help all of us. So we have some, I know in the Matsu, I have some of these signs that are like sitting in my garage right now that I need to put out up in the Matsu. And if you have somewhere in mind that you want to have some of these signs up, where you think there might be some horses, then let us know, reach out to that. And really, as a lot of you, I think, looking at the presentations that I've seen and some of the people who are here, maybe some of you are working on trail plans or thinking about, especially like Long Trail. I know some people have been, from the Kenai, have been in talks with the folks at Alaska Long Trail. Please keep us in mind when you're planning trails. Don't just assume, don't forget about us as a user group, because we do want to use these trails and we hope that we can be a good ally and collaborator with you. Like, we want to work with you. And if you don't put us on your plan to start with, then when it starts becoming an issue, they'll say, oh, well, horses were never included, we weren't listed on there, and then we can get blocked from it. And so, not that we expect that we should be everywhere, but we just have been seeing us listed on fewer and fewer places as users. So please keep us in mind as you are working on these plans or thinking about these. We try to comment where we can, but we are a volunteer organization, kind of limited potentially. And we are very devoted. We want to preserve access to public lands. We do education. If you want us to do a presentation about horses, you want me to bring my pony to your club or whatever, I can do that as a fun visit. All right. I mean, I do have a day job, but I love doing that sort of stuff in the summer. And we are about responsible stewardship. This is my contact. This is my personal email. If you know me through Reed, you can contact me that way too. But this is me and the Matt Sue. I'm in Anchorage fairly often, but I live in Wasilla. And then Jaden is, I didn't put your contact on here, Mary. I wasn't sure which one of you to put. Anyways, there's Jaden's contact, but if you want someone else's contact too, please feel to reach out to us. Mary, is there anything that you wanted to add to it?
No, thank you so much for letting us come and speak. Sorry, hopefully next year we can come live, or I can come live. It's not much fun getting the flu at the last minute, so I didn't want to share the germs. I figured everybody would appreciate that. But yeah, no, we know that we are out there. We are out there on our horses, and we love to get along, and we love to ask, people ask us questions. We'll sit and we'll talk. And if somebody says, oh, can I pet your horse? Of course you can. There are some horses that you need to ask because they're not real friendly, but most of them are very friendly. So anyway, yeah, thanks so much for letting us come and talk.
Thanks very much.
I'm still recovering from being sick.
Yes.
So that's why.
Does anybody have any questions for Colleen before we let her go? Okay.
And
Thanks,
it's not as
Kate.
interesting as Pat.
We're gonna take just a 5-minute break before we have Mike Shields up here teaching us how to break rock. There's somebody in this parking area. We were informed from the man behind the desk with their hatchback or their car open in some manner. And so if you have a white car, did you have any other description, Mark?
No.
Okay.